Welcome back to Normal But Not, the podcast where we explore all things that might seem totally normal, but spoiler alert, they're not, and how we can redefine what healthy and balanced really look like. I'm your host, Crystal Centinello, a certified trauma-informed boundaries and empowerment coach. I'm also a recovering people pleaser who's learned the hard way that life is too short to live by someone else's script. Whether you're here because a friend shared this episode with you, thank you, friend, or you just stumbled upon it, I'm so glad you're listening today. If you've ever scrolled social media or compared yourself to others and thought, why don't I have it all figured out like they do? This episode is for you. You're not alone, and there's nothing wrong with you. This is something that we have normalized, but it is not normal. So join me with your cup of coffee, tea, water, mushroom adaptogen, recess something or other, and sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. All right, let's start with a little honesty. Raise your hand if you've ever been sucked into the Instagram, TikTok, Facebook highlight reel. Perfect vacations, perfectly organized homes, perfectly behaved children. You know the one. Now, keep your hand up if you've ever found yourself thinking, what am I doing wrong? Okay, here's the thing. Comparison isn't just a thief of joy. It's a thief of truth. The truth is, what you're seeing isn't the whole story. Have you ever seen those Instagram reels where they actually reveal the behind the scenes? That woman, super mom, who looks like she's scaling the top of the tallest cliff is actually a foot off the ground. It's just been taken at a really good angle. And yet the comparison that we're seeing to the fake Finstagrams or whatever you want to call it can make us believe that we are failing at life. It eats at our insecurities, making us feel like we're not doing enough. And most of us have already been feeling that way. We didn't need Instagram or Facebook or TikTok to make us feel like we weren't enough. I've been there too. I'll tell you a story about it. I can tell you those times where I have felt like I was on the same side as most of us have been, right? Sitting at night, scrolling through TikTok, feeling like everyone else has it all figured out. I remember one time driving to the grocery store, crying in the parking lot, feeling like I just finally had time to breathe. Meanwhile, I'm looking at my other friends and they seem like to be going to great parties. They seem to be spending all their time with their children at home, making sure that they're learning their letters and making the best treats for them, taking them on family vacations. And I'm barely surviving. I'm working as a school teacher with other people's children all day. I'm coming home, putting on a smiling face for my children, putting together a dinner that consists of dino chicken nuggets and salad. Now, granted, I cut up the chicken nuggets to make it look like a chicken Caesar salad or a fancy chicken salad. It wasn't. Most nights were macaroni and cheese, and I vowed when my children were born I would never be the chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese mom. Meanwhile, everyone else seems to have it together. And I'm also crying because I'm constantly being reminded with my husband at the time, that I wasn't doing enough. The fork was in the dishwasher the wrong way. While he's working from home, I'm driving an hour to make sure that we have an income coming in because mine was the stable income in the household. And I just feel like I can never do enough. And Instagram, Facebook, this was pre-TikTok, is all telling me a completely different story. I had a friend tell me that her life wasn't as put together as she made it seem on Instagram. Now, I felt she was just saying that to make me feel better. So I'm going to tell you the flip side of it. Sometime, a couple of years after my divorce, I put out an article about what domestic violence can look like when someone's not hitting you. It was all about what emotional abuse looks like, because it's sneaky. And I wanted people to be aware of something that I was ashamed of, that I didn't know was happening to me for years, because it's easy to ignore red flags. And they are not always in your face right in the beginning. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with comparing yourselves to others and Instagram? Stick with me for a moment. I put this article out, and an old high school friend of mine finds it. He reaches out to me on Facebook. He's now a psychologist and says, "Can I share this?" I was like, "Of course." He goes, "Crystal, for all of these years, I thought you had the perfect marriage. Everything I saw you posting on Facebook looked like everything was wonderful. You were having parties at your house. You were posting Christmas pictures. You would go, my engagement was a helicopter ride, filmed and put on ABC News. Everything to everyone else looked like it was picture perfect. But what I was actually experiencing was something that was a complete 180. And looking back, I put that all out there for many reasons that had to do with protecting my family, not understanding what was going on, thinking that if I did these things as a people pleaser, I would make him happy. I could save my marriage. If I just loved him more, things could work out. That I was the problem. I wasn't doing enough. And every time I thought I was doing enough, I was reminded, but you're not doing this. And so I just needed to change and do more. And if I told the world that everything was okay, if I faked it until I made it, then it would all work out. And I was also comparing myself to other people who seemed like they also had it all. But again, behind the scenes, it wasn't really true. So when you're comparing yourself to other people out there, I have done it. I've compared myself to others and been in the literal seat of my car crying in a parking lot at a grocery store. And I've also been the person putting out information that was only partially true. It wasn't the full story. It was me on a mountain, a foot off the ground, and it appeared like I was 1,000 feet off the ground. So just keep that in mind when you're comparing yourself to others. You're not getting the full picture. You can only think about what is going on with you and how it is working for you. Comparing yourselves to others is so normal. We all do it, but it's only become normal because of social media. It's not healthy. When I say it's normal, but it's not, I'm not saying it's normal, but it's not normal. I mean, part of me is, but I'm also saying it's normal, but it's not healthy. It's normal, but it's not helping. It's normal, but it doesn't have to be. We can make those changes. So one of the reasons why we do this, aside from society kind of making that change for us, I mean, if you're a parent or somebody of my age, we've probably already talked about how when we were kids, we only thought our friends were having a better time than us. Now we can go on social media and have it thrown in our face, and it affects us. So why do we do this? It's actually wired into us. This is the part that's normal. Science has proved to us that there is wiring in our brain that makes this happen. Comparison used to help our ancestors survive, assessing others for threats or advantages. But in today's world, it's more like we're using it to beat ourselves up. Social media fuels this fire. We are bombarded with snippets of other people's lives that seem better, shinier, and more successful than our own. How many 25-year-olds have you heard of that are millionaires and you've thought, what am I doing wrong being a doctor saving people's lives or being a teacher educating the future generations? Add that to our own insecurities, and the result is a toxic spiral of self-doubt and inadequacy. That constant voice in our head saying, I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not kind enough. I'm not loving enough. I'm sure you could fill in with the other enoughs. But it's time to change that voice in our head. And here's the good news. You can. You don't have to live in that spiral. You can take steps to break free. Reclaim your worth and start celebrating your unique journey. Now, come January, I have a workshop coming up on how to help you with these things, how to help you with your boundaries and really finding where you're at right now so you can see where the starting point is on your map. Because later, I have a more in-depth workshop coming up where we can really find that roadmap to identifying your true self and reclaiming who you really are. Getting back to finding your joy and doing things for you. But let's take some steps now. Get out your note-taking device, whether it's a pad of paper and a pencil, I don't care, but we're gonna start now. Stop playing the comparison game. Here's how you're gonna do it. Number 1, journal your thoughts. Yep, start a journal. If you don't have one, start now. It doesn't even need to be anything fancy. It can be a spiral-bound 80-cent notebook, if there's still even 80 cents anymore, from like Target or something. If you have a journal that you were using and you've put it down, take it back out. It's okay to start it again. When you catch yourself comparing, write down what triggered it and how it made you feel. Then ask yourself, is this thought true? Often, it's not. Okay, so you see a woman scaling a mountain. I'm probably going to use this analogy a lot. And you think to yourself, wow, I'm just not strong enough anymore. Is that thought true? It's probably not. Doesn't mean you can never be strong again. Maybe you have fallen out of working out or whatever. But does that mean you can never do something to make yourself stronger? And if scaling a mountain is literally out of reach, then set a smaller goal. Whether you can scale a mountain or not, doesn't define you. Number 2, limit social media time. This is a great one for so many reasons, but let's focus on setting a boundary with social media time. This one could feel easy because it doesn't involve you interacting with anybody. You don't have to worry about conflict or avoiding conflict. Nope. Just consider putting down your phone at maybe 6:30 or 7 o'clock, or just limiting the social media. I mean, we can set things on our phones for our children where we limit the time that social media account has access. Set a focus on your phone for social media use and block it at a certain time. And then you won't be as tempted to use it. Or Consider following accounts that inspire and uplift you. If you come across an account that brings you down or you're not feeling great, just unfollow it. You don't have to worry about somebody feeling bad as far as friends on Facebook or something like that. You can still be friends with them and unfollow their feed on Facebook. And by the way, you can unfollow them on Instagram too. Who cares if they get upset with you? Most people aren't even paying attention whether someone unfollowed them or not. I mean, go ahead, take a look. Did you lose followers? Did you even notice? Who cares? Number 3, practice gratitude. We had Thanksgiving a couple weekends ago. We have the holidays coming up. It's a great time to be thankful. Write down 3 things you love about your life. Actually, I take that back. Write down 3 things you don't. If you're having trouble writing the things you love about your life, and reframe them. I hate. What do I hate? I hate having to sit through long meetings that could have just been put into a memo. I'm grateful that I have people who value me to have me here. I'm grateful that I have the hearing that allows me to listen to these meetings. I'm grateful that I'm good at multitasking and can actually get other stuff done during this meeting. I don't know, flip it. Flip the script and reframe it. Or maybe you do have things you're grateful for, no matter how small. I find the smallest things sometimes bring me the greatest gratitude. I'm grateful for the feeling of my cats on my lap in the morning. I'm grateful for a warm cup of coffee. All right, maybe I'm getting too sappy for you. Write your own gratitude list. Number 4, affirm your worth. Now, I've said this before, the staring in the mirror. I know how hard it is. I've told you, I have cried doing affirmations, but they work. Now, I don't do them as much anymore because I've done the work. Doesn't mean I'll never need to do it again, but it's worked. It's got me here. Some of them have been really successful, have been, I am enough just as I am. Sometimes you are enough just as you are. Trying the I and the you, see which one feels more powerful to you. Repeat them daily, even if it feels cheesy at first. Put a note on your mirror to remind you to do it. And by the way, if you're living with somebody who might tease you for it, that's a different thing. Give me a call, send me a DM. We need to talk about that. I've been there. Number 5, there's 2 more, so keep writing. Celebrate your wins. Take stock of your victories. Write down 3 things you've accomplished this week. No matter how small, celebrate them. Maybe it was setting a boundary. Maybe it was getting up 15 minutes early. Maybe it was choosing to have coffee without creamer. Whatever they are, write them down. Maybe you parked a little farther away and you from the grocery store and you took a few extra steps. Whatever you're looking to achieve or you have managed to achieve, write them down. Also, take note. Did you post on social media about every single win that you have made? Probably not. When I stopped posting, aside from my complete coaching with Crystal account, when I stopped posting on my personal accounts, I realized I was enjoying life more. I don't have to post everything I do in my life. And it made me realize that I'm living life just fine. When I was posting most about my life and my achievements was when I felt the most insecure, was when I needed the most validation and the most attention. Give yourself a little insight about that as well. Maybe you and maybe the other people doing it. Lastly, pause and reflect. When you feel that jealousy creeping in, pause. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? We just met with Kyra. Where am I even feeling this in my body? And what am I feeling about it? Sometimes it's actually a clue to something that you desire. And that's okay. Find comfort in the discomfort. Here's the truth. Comparison isn't going to magically disappear, but you can control how you respond to it. By shifting your focus inward rather than everyone else around you and celebrating your own journey, you'll start to see you're already more than enough. If this episode hit home, I'd love to hear about it. Come find me on Instagram at Complete Coaching with Crystal and let me know how comparison has shown up for you in your life and how you're breaking free from it. You can also explore more resources on my website, crystalcentinello.com, including tools to help you reclaim your worth and confidence, along with my upcoming workshop. I will have those details on the website and in the show notes as soon as they're released. So stay tuned. Now, before we go, I'll tell you just a little bit more about this workshop. If you're feeling stuck in the cycle of people-pleasing, guilt, exhaustion, and you've had some trauma in your life, maybe some abuse, maybe you've dealt with a narcissist, parent, family member, partner, my workshop that is coming up is 1 hour. You will get a recording when it is done forever for you to watch over and over and over again, along with workbook pages to put into action. You will leave the workshop with actionable steps that you have practiced during, plus some question and answer. It is called From Trauma to Triumph, Setting Boundaries in 1 hour. So for my normal but not listeners who are ready to say no with confidence without the second guessing and without feeling like the bad guy, working from your trauma that has made you a people pleaser, to triumph on the other side. Join me. These practical strategies to set boundaries that will help you to feel authentic, will help you to protect your time and prioritize yourself guilt-free. So it'll coming up soon. Again, head over to the website. I will have information in the show notes about how to get there. Keep checking my Instagram to sign up and grab your spot. It's a chance to start rewriting the rules and live life on your terms. Don't forget to hit subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any episodes. Check to see if there's a poll. I will post one every now and then. And if you know someone who can use this message, share this episode with them. It just might be the encouragement that they need. Remember, you don't have to have it all figured out, and you're not in this alone. Until next time, keep being kind to yourself. You're doing better than you think.